When creating a character, the character's archetype is the best place to start. Or at least, that's what I think right now. Let me present my case, the 3 Fs, and give me your thoughts. For those who aren't aware, I created this formula for quick, in-depth character construction which goes as such. Archetype, Enneagram of personality, Myers-Briggs temperament indicator, Reese desire profile, backstory. It's something that might seem complex on the surface, but in practice, it's a case of me starting broad and progressively zooming in bit by bit. That's why we start with the archetypes. To make sure we're on the same page, let's define what archetypes are. The traditional definition is that an archetype is essentially a universal, familiar character type that repeatedly appears in stories across cultures and ages. Think of the hero, the mentor, the trickster, or the outlaw. These aren't just random labels. They're specific profiles that include traits, behaviors, and roles that resonate with us all on a deep, almost instinctual level. From what I've found, the idea was overall popularized by Carl Jung and connects to the whole idea of the unconscious consciousness, which is basically a set of knowledge and imagery that every person is born with and shares across human society. The definition I prefer to work from is this. Archetypes are masks worn by characters to serve a particular function at a particular time to move the plot forward. When I start here, I basically ask myself the question, what role is this character meant to serve in the plot? The reason I prioritize answering this connects to those 3 Fs I mentioned. 1. Framework. As a creator, I never forget that I'm telling a story first and foremost. I think in terms of genre first, as genre is the initial hook to everything because it promises an emotional experience. So, by focusing on archetypes first, I can think about what archetype sets the genre I wish to create. I know that no matter what I do with the character, they will accomplish a specific plot function first and foremost. For instance, in Tales of Berseria, Velvet Crow is an Avenger. There are tons of other things to her, as TV Trope best documents in her not so above it all entry, but she makes sure to serve that core purpose in the plot above all else. It's just a case of knowing what to prioritize, and being able to recognize what's going wrong when doing other things with the character. 2. Flexible. By defining them as masks, it helps to keep in mind that no individual is any single thing alone. Characters can shift between different archetypal masks depending on the situation, which mimics real human behavior more closely than static character types would. Now, there are times for flat and static characters, but that's a whole conversation with the hierarchy of characters. Ask in the comments if you want more on that. Anyway, I treat it more like the wild card persona user can. For instance, when writing my protagonist Cassidy, I have her initial Phantom Thief archetype which I started everything with and used to find everything else. Still, since I have everything else, I can have her shift to other personas while remaining eternally consistent, like the Royal for a comedy archetype, which I'll feature in a future video. 3. Familiarity. As said, we're tapping into stuff everybody recognizes, which helps as a sort of shortcut at the beginning to create a connection. Familiarity breeds empathy. Basically, it helps as an entry point because complexity out of the gate can push some people away. Think of it like showing up at a party and having a familiar face in the crowd. Or, better yet, think of it as being invited to a party by a familiar face to begin with. It helps you dip your toe in and get comfortable. Speaking from experience, this has helped me get into some books. Such as with the Arcane Casebook series, it did that with the type of detective Alex Lockerbie is. Or, for another example, it's what helped me get into Invincible quick as I could recognize quickly that he's the young enthusiastic teen superhero. It and all the other characters helped bridge me in quick while getting used to what this specific story was doing. I'm sure there are other reasons I could think of, but this works as a quick summarization. What do you think though? Do you think my system has a solid starting point? Or should it begin elsewhere? Share your thoughts in the comments. Oh, and since I forgot to mention this throughout, if you enjoy the type of content I make, consider joining the channel membership, as it helps make what I'm doing here sustainable for others, and can lead to a future where I have even more time to help others with their stories. Anyway, if you want to keep learning about how this system works, I have more coming on why the process is what it is.